Last time we looked at the machinations for the house, we just had unhallowed grounds, revolting algae, stones of Uzi Ziu Izu, and insulted the Grand Alliance. Now, each of these can trigger bad things for your house. Now, at the end of every saga, if you scroll down, you get one more conspiracy that starts against your house. Now, you'll notice that there's two new conspiracies. That's because when Rachel pushed off that tension for later instead of her character taking it, and then she rolled a d6, that triggered adding another conspiracy against the house. And so, how a conspiracy works, you'll notice that they each have a clock that's current and end. The conspiracies do anyway. You'll see each of them have gone up at least one. They go up one automatically. They can also go up one during gameplay if you build up tension and all that stuff, right? Now, some of them you've already done some tasks for. If those clocks ever hit 4, then they're automatically going to do 1 damage to your security score of your house, guild house. If you go all the way to the left, go look at your attributes in the bottom left-hand corner of your guild house. That's how many points you have to give. That also is your dice pool when you roll to beat the score that are on these conspiracies. I know this is a lot that I'm throwing at you, but we'll walk through it once we get there. So just want to point out the machinations because we're going to do this part right now. And as part of this fun for me, what I'm going to do, this shouldn't be your characters that decide what gets done here. Would it make more sense if the house staff were the ones telling you guys to do it? Or is it more interesting for you guys to decide on your own? What's more fun for you guys, do you think?
What exactly are we going to do? Just like picking a conspiracy and like working on it?
Yes. Or multiple ones. So what happens is that your characters will roll as their characters to do one thing. Okay. Now with Mary not being here, we might just have her character just get assigned to do one of the things and roll for it. If you fulfill all of so under revolting algae, there's only 2 more boxes that need to get ticked. Once those boxes are all ticked, then you can roll against the environment to successfully get rid of it. If you let the clock just go, you don't get to roll. The house just takes that damage. So does it as far as as far as the rules go, do you think it would be cooler to have all right, your upper echelon people have to decide what the lower level characters do, or is it more fun for you guys to decide as the lower, quote unquote, lower level characters? You guys are guild members. You're like, here's leadership, and then here's you guys. You guys have almost as much power, really. Um, what would be more fun for you guys to do?
I think keeping with the characters or
Okay.
lower level character. I
Okay.
think, but I can be moved either way.
Okay.
That's my gut.
I had more gut reaction. Was keep it here, but I could go either way. Or keep it in my lower character.
Okay.
Yeah, our earlier conversations about it were that, sort of we're out in the streets, we're sort of pursuing things that we're hearing. And so these activities are ones that we're hearing, not necessarily the higher ups are hearing. So I kind of like that approach that it sort of made us the connectors between the leadership and what's happening sort of on the streets or out in the community or whatever. I could see where maybe we might lose some autonomy, right? Like at one point we angered some of the leadership, they might be dictating things to us from time to time, but generally I saw us as being that connector.
Okay. That totally makes
I
sense
like
to
that
me.
part.
So guild. All right, so we'll just keep that to guild members. Okay. So let's take a look at those machinations right now. This is going to be the official start of this new saga. The fallout from the other saga that we did, we already talked about. Um, everyone was here last, right? Yes. No. Right. We also have to figure out where Bartok was. I think Bartok needs to come back. Okay. Let's reset this. On your character sheets, everyone go back to their full health, their full honor, and get rid of one condition. Those are things you can automatically do.
Is condition the same as status effect?
Yes, sorry, status effect. Yeah. Sorry,
So,
I'm getting my games confused. Yeah, one status effect. Now, if you have more status effects that you need to get rid of, you can spend a jewel to get rid of one if you have an extra jewel, which you may or may not.
Do our our saga points reset?
Yes, your saga points reset to 0, and the unity resets to, there's going to be 3 of you here, resets to 3. Which, do one of you guys want to keep track of, or do you want me to keep track of it? Okay, I can do that. Okay. All right. So now, that being said, Bartok is going to come back to the guild. Which does happen. People have their own lives. But you're still part of the guild. He's going to come back with the um, I'm going to say we're going to call it the bought status effect.
That doesn't
Now,
sound great.
now, do I know what that means? No. However, we can work that into our gaming as we go along. Okay. I also just thought of this a half hour ago. Is that before we come in? Do you guys have a bat at your house or something? Sally?
Dog with zoomies.
Okay.
They're right
All I
above
could just
Eric's head.
I know exactly what it was.
That's funny. All right, so something I thought of like just a half hour ago to go along with your backgrounds is that everyone should also get a quote unquote permanent condition that's tied to their background. And so like Bartok would have the hunted condition. I know Ruxton would have the in debt condition. And then Nephelina, I need to double check here. I mean, your main thing is, oh, right. Um, you have the disgraced. Going back and taking a look at your background. Now, these are all, they don't have any mechanical effects except when they get brought up. If you want to bring them into the storyline, that can count as using your personal saga. That makes sense to tie it in. Now, we can talk about ways to get rid of them. I know that I talked with Eric about what he has to do to get rid of his. I'm pretty sure if he remembers. But
I don't remember the exact number. I don't.
hey,
Great.
Bartok and Nephelina, we don't have any specific thing to get rid of your guys' conditions. But I think that's going to be something we can also explore while we're doing this as the saga goes along. Okay. I hope this makes it excited to get into it. So let's do it. Oh, to explain to Aaron. Right. I got to back up again real quick. Hey, why don't you guys tell Aaron what happened?
I'll grab my notebook from downstairs.
Yeah, did I take notes on this one?
I can do it
Mary's
too.
really good at this part, by the way.
Mary is really good at this part. I can. So long story short, you did it. You guys, I think I put it in the notes. Uh, they fulfilled the contract for the Grand Alliance by giving the contract of the asteroid fields to House Krill, who they are now your allies. So you now have access to a deep space orbital ship. Okay. Um, Now, as all this comes to fruition, is that you guys basically uh, exposed Suki Duchesne as the mastermind behind Xander's murder. That was the original duel, the guy that got shattered. Suki was behind all of it to get him murdered because he was sleeping with who he thought was his quote unquote girl, more or less, right? Um, so yeah, since Suki got taken out. Now, normally what happens when the leader of a guild house gets removed, the charter usually goes away, or then there's a power vacuum that turns into bloodshed, or bidding war because it's more of a civilized society, right? Well, none of that happened. Knots stepped in fairly quickly to establish dominance, who was his right hand man, but he did not take ownership of the guild. Lady Summer did, the original woman that you saved all the way back at the duel. And she now controls the House Duchesne that's in the town of Defiance. And the last thing that I will point out real quick, if you go to the Honorbound Playtest panel, I have put a map on here. I can give you kind of an idea, a little bit of what this gaming world's going to look like. So your guys's, well, okay, so there's like a couple mountains. That weird tree-looking thing is actually a river that goes to the edge of the world and that just dumps off into waterfalls, creating these huge like cloud effects. It is the world just drops off. There are stone spires that come through. That's the world of like airships and piracy and like sky sharks and stuff like that. Okay, Defiance is off to the right. You guys' guild house is near Kessel Fall Starport, and then by going underneath the mountains, you can get to BV Scrapyard. And then to the other side, it's going to open up into a much larger lake, which there will be a underwater city over there too. So that's kind of the gaming world that we're working. This is going to be System Prime that'll go in the book. So if there's stuff that you guys can think of, like, I think this is really neat. I think I want to add this or whatever. Kind of give you an idea. The scrapyard is a little bit more of an industrialized. They're about the only place that doesn't have renewable energy, and so they still burn um, and mine and all that stuff over there. But they also grow all of your guys' food as well. They grow your meat foods, which is like it's not animals that they slaughter. They're growing your meat actually. Um, Defiance then is more of your econ area, and and then Kesselport is more of your kind of neutral, everything kind of in between cities sort of deal. Okay, so that's a lot. Thank you so much for taking a look at that. And we lost two of our people. All right, Bartok, figure out how to do all this.
I'm on it.
Well, it's how about we just get your idea on it? Like, what do you think for the machinations? Because you now have two new ones that have four on there. There's four conspiracies, one duty, and one disaster. The disaster doesn't have a clock. If you can get rid of it, though, that'll be a nice boon to the guild house. But what do you guys think? What do you want to do? Talk amongst each other, please.
So the stones is almost the stones in the algae are almost done. What do you think? Should we try to wrap those up? I don't really have skills in volley or sensitivity. And would duel just be I pick whatever type of duel I want?
Yeah. Just say something like narratively that's going to make sense to what you're trying to do, and just put it in there. This is a lot more storytelling and just rolling dice for rolling dice sake to produce tension points and saga points.
My thought was I'd just wrap up the stones. I can't do anything on the algae side. What are your thoughts? Or we could start something else too.
Yeah. Rachel, do you have sensitivity?
No. I mean, I don't mind starting something new because I do have some of those skills, but also the clock is ticking on these ones.
Yeah.
In theory, can we spend Unity points for these ones?
Yeah, if you want to. Yeah, I
Just
mean, I will
because
point.
then we
Oh, we haven't done the bequeathing for this week. I'm sorry. That's what we need to start off with. So then that way, if you have anything left over, if you need it, you can use it for this part. I apologize. Need to do this in order. Okay. If you guys remember how we did the bequeathing last time, please give a brief little description of your character, and then the other people will bequeath you a trinket that's a physical item that can be easily traded. Let's start with Bartok, just because you're in the upper left-hand corner of my screen.
I'm going to start out. Ruxton, you have a tool belt. It's one of those really sweet, like well-worn leathers with like a cool buckle on it that kind of hangs sort of Han Solo sideways with a spanner on the side. It always just made you feel really cool when you put it on, like swashbuckler style.
I love that.
Nephelina, would you like to bequeath something to Ruxton?
Yes, I would. You look like a raccoon, right?
Look like a fox.
I'm sorry, that's what I was asking. Sorry. I know how you feel about raccoons. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Um, you, because of all your fur, you have this really awesome like specialty comb that was given. Well, I don't know what it was given, but it's made out of um some type of metal that like only exists on where your home is, and has a special gem like embedded in the handle part of the comb, and it makes your fur look especially fluffy and
All right, I love it.
low.
Uh, okay, Rachel, can you give me just a real brief description of your character, and then we'll have the other two bequeath.
Yeah, I am Iliod. Is that how I say it? Yep. And I am like a purple but very also iridescent crystalline um kind of skin, and I'm very tall and try to be very stoic, but not always very successful at that. Now that you've gotten to know me.
Sounds good. Bartok, can you bequeath?
All right, Nephelina, you have always kept this kind of out of sight of everyone else, but from your days and your spy training, you have a watch, And the watch is just a very sort of, it's nice, but it's sort of nondescript, but it does something really cool. And you've tried to keep it out of everyone's sight just because you don't want any questions about it. Because if they knew what it was, they'd be super jealous, or at least super nosy, and that's no good. So you have a watch that does something really dope.
Eric?
Um, Nephelina, on one of your previous spying gigs, it wasn't even like your target, but you were in a cantina and palmed a, uh, a space Rolodex, some sort of like a data pad or something, that uh, you have no idea whose it is, and it's encoded, and you're trying like once in a while try to like figure out uh, how to get into this thing, and you think you're really close, and yeah, that's what you have.
Good idea. Okay. And Bartok, can you give me a brief description, and then we'll have the other two bequeathed to you.
Yeah. Tall and lanky humanish with bright, long, curly, bright red hair. Now that he's back, he's tied it into a kind of a rough ponytail, which he'd always just kind of let it fly loose before. So kind of tidying things up, but not very good at it. Um, Otherwise, wears red and yellow and orange striped, sort of circus style cloth all over his body. Um, Generally doesn't carry a lot of stuff with him, but always looks like he's ready for a fight.
All right. Eric?
Uh, Bartok, you have a lucky earring, and it's pretty gaudy. There's like some sort of like space feathers that kind of come off of it. It's got this like it's bigger than the stud is like on the earlobe, um, but it also has a very tiny secret compartment, which is really the only reason that you ever want to wear it. But uh, you have it if you need
And
I love space feathers. I don't even know what that means. We're gonna work with that.
Rachel?
I was 100% thinking an earring too. So now mine was not that intricate and detailed though. So now I just have to think a little. Well, like you were saying with your hair that you're trying to keep it a little neater and tied back. The string or whatever you tied it back with. Um, I don't know what's special about it. What's special about this string? There's something special about this string. You took it from somebody you beat in a fight. It was like our it was like their bootlace or something. It was like their bootlace, and you like took it as a trophy, kind of left them with a shoe that's fallen.
I love it.
right on.
Perfect.
Yeah, 'cause if I'm correct in thinking about this, so Bartok is military. Oh no. He's underworld background. Ruxton is academic background, and Nephelina is high society background. Now we'll bring Oyah in later on if at the next adventure, but they have the religious background. So don't forget to play around with those things too. So yeah, the bootstrap works wonderfully. All right, so now that we've been bequeathed, now okay, we do bequeath first, then we do the machinations. So, what do you guys want to do for the machinations?
it. I think I feel the same way. With the ones that we only have a couple left, I don't feel like I'm particularly good at that stuff, but also like we got to do it eventually, right? Like maybe we just try to focus on one and see how it goes. Like I could do volley in the algae one. Like I have at least a point, so I'm willing to do that.
Yeah, and remember, the number you're trying to beat is what the environment number is, which is just a 5 for those.
Yeah.
So, on average, with just 2 dice, you should get it. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but you should, right? Okay.
All right.
So Ruxton, you want to do that?
Sure.
Okay, let's do it. So you're do this back in the feel of everything. This is going to be what attribute are you going to use with volley, and narratively, kind of tell me what you're doing here. Doesn't have to be super in depth.
Uh, the the mold as it's getting bigger and bigger and sentient, right?
Hmm.
Is it also getting larger?
We hadn't said so, but it certainly could.
It's starting to do that now, and I'm like, we're not fucking around. I gotta shoot this thing. I don't want to get very close. And so I'm like kind of behind the way, and I'm taking my time, and I'm aiming. Uh, and I hope I'm aiming at the right thing. Uh, Either vigor or wit, probably. Vigor more than wit. I don't know.
Yeah, vigor probably makes sense to me. And you've got 1 in volley, so it's gonna be 4 dice.
There it is.
246. Okay. Yeah. Great. No attention points, no saga points, but that's a success. All right.
All right.
All right. The only thing that's left now for that is sensitivity. Um, you mentioned earlier, Nephelina. Did you want to try that? Oh, muted.
Can Oyah do it?
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Because we said we need her to be involved too for this because I felt that would be unfair to have
Right.
these set up. It's set up for 4 people for these conspiracies. So
Right.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, absolutely gonna
She
let you
has
do it.
sensitivity and I don't.
Okay. So sensitivity 1, and it's probably gonna be mysticism, so that'll be 5 dice. And this will be, yeah, roll 5d6 and kind of tell us what that, or I'll do it. In success without anything going one way or the other. All right. So you have this one all set up. And narratively, what did she discover by using sensitivity?
It's not actually sentient. It's just really good at speaking in a cadence that sounds like that it is, but it's actually just kind of repeating other stuff that it's heard people say, and she kind of got into its brain and realized now it's just a reaction that it has. It's a try to keep it from being attacked. It's like, oh, don't hurt me, don't hurt me. I have feeling. But it doesn't. It just heard somebody say that.
Okay, I love it. So we're gonna create those. Those are gonna be called mimic spores from now on.
Yeah.
And you guys, it was threatening to remove itself as an asset for your guild house. So let's take a look what your asset score is. It is only a 2. So someone roll 2 dice. You're trying to get a 5. Or do you want me to
I'll
do
do
it?
it.
Okay.
I'll do it. Two. I got 2d6.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
Oh,
Hey, all right.
no
Good
fear.
job. As a guild, you have solved the revolting algae. Now, I'm just going to put that into purple, showing that you got it done. Good job. That'll also count as a house experience at the end of it, so you can promote your house a little bit easier now, too. All right. However, we still have Nephelina to
Mhm.
in.
Well, I have 0 for everything in unhallowed ground.
Okay. Fair enough. But on the plus side, there's none of those that are done. So if you
Okay.
scroll down, you do have two
I also
more.
have 0 in. Not very good at these ones. Artax, do you have any dual ability to finish out that?
Yep, I'll get that one. I'll get the stones.
And I will start something new.
Okay, perfect. Let's see if we can get those stones.
All right. So let's see. So dual. So I'm trying to remember. I think it was sort of exploring an abandoned temple kind of a thing to get the stone, if I remember correctly.
It
And
100%.
last,
Yeah, sorry, I
yeah,
interrupted.
yeah. Ruxton, were you the one who got the lore, or was it someone else? Someone did the lore to find out where it was, and I used my athletics, I think, to dodge a trap.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I used my background to come up with the lore. Does that sound right? Does
Mm-mm.
that help? That
Nope.
wasn't the same thing.
Nope, that wasn't the same thing. But you 100% didn't use the exact plot from Temple of Doom. That's not something you did at all. I remember that very specifically.
Doesn't sound like me.
So yeah,
Yeah.
they're heart crystals or soul crystals or something like that.
Yeah, I think what happens is I come out of the temple, and standing there is someone from another house trying to poach our crystal,
Nice.
and he does the fancy thing with the blades, and I just pop him right in the chops. He totally doesn't expect it. He thought there'd be a big fight scene, and no, I just pop the hammer just apropos of nothing.
Perfect.
So I
And that guy is 100%
think
going to
that would
be
probably be
from the Velvet Gauntlet.
screw those guys. Yeah. So is that a vigor duel?
Yeah, that makes if you're just going to pop him in the face, yeah, vigor duel. And you need to get a 9. Amazing.
Wow,
Well
look at me
done.
not rolling a 1 or a 6. That's impressive with that many
Yeah.
dice. Neither one.
Uh, however, amazing. That machination is also done. You managed to gather the stones and return them to your house to get them off to the fence. Now, because you've done so, everyone gain 1 jewel. And then
Does that go?
finally,
Oh, there it is.
what are we saying?
No, all good. I just couldn't find it on the sheet for a second.
Right on. All right, and Nephelina, what would you like to do? Oh, who's gonna tell her? So embarrassing.
Did I know? I figured it out. Um, but it was mostly me thinking out loud anyway. Like, hey, I should start this unhallowed ground one, and I could probably attempt a taunt. I don't remember the story. Small things are disappearing from the guild house.
That's all you know.
Um, that's all I know.
Yeah, no
Well,
one's done
I
anything, so
I could taunt be that like I try to convince I try to lay a trap essentially. Like by putting something really obvious that would be tempting to this person. Essentially like
ooh,
taunting like, hey, I bet you can't steal this thing without us noticing and trying to
yeah,
would that be a taunt?
yeah, I love it.
Okay. So that'd be panache or would that be wit? Hoping for panache.
Yeah, it's your story. Yeah, you tell me if you like panache, because you're totally like acting, right? You're like,
Right, like I put
oh,
something really obvious and I try to like spread the word around the house. Like,
yeah,
oh, I put this really valuable thing, but like not like obviously make it known that I was laying a trap, but make it known that there's this cool, valuable thing that somebody might be interested in.
Perfect.
It's 4d6. I have 0 in taunt.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. No saga points, no tension points. We're gonna go into this saga naked on both sides. Awesome. However, you yeah, you put that out there, and this one I've thought about quite a bit for this machinations. So the taunt one is taken care of. You do the taunt, and you're like you kind of set a trap for it, waiting for to kind of something to happen, and the item doesn't get taken. It simply disappears.
Okay.
Yep. So yeah, there's that. All right. So we've done part one, bequeathing, part two, the machinations. So you guys are just kind of in full, like taking care of your business for the week. Um, and if you remember from last time, is that Sovereign Colwyn has been off planet for a couple of weeks now at this point, right? Uh, a contract comes in that you get assigned by the quartermaster gives to you. And here we go. To kind of give you an idea of how this works, right? House Plunder Donkey has been hired to negotiate fair pricing for the Kessel Spaceport in the town of BV Scrapyard. The quartermaster advises you to meet with the Harvest Guild to re-up the agreement upon the rates for the crops. They tell you to not leave the scrapyard until you have a new deal adjusted with inflation, but not 1 jewel more. Okay, that's your contract. Now, as you're preparing to take the trip, it'll be a train ride underneath the mountain pass into the scrapyard. So a little bit of a public transport for this one. You are going to Sovereign Colwyn returns. His personal luxury ship, however, is not the only one that comes back with him. He comes back with Sovereign Deep Star. Because of the hustle and bustle that's happening here, what Sovereign Colwyn announces to the guild house is that in 1 week's time, or in 2 weeks' time, in a fortnight, the guild shall be prepared for a wedding. My youngest daughter is in talks or in preparation to wed the only son of Guildhouse Deepstar. Everyone's like, ooh, this could be a really nice alliance to get going. House Deepstar, Caxian House, from a different planet, obviously. They've got good research. They have access to the laboratories that you guys don't have access to. So it actually ended up being a pretty good match. You guys could go get stuff, bring it back to the laboratory, be able to do something on that. However,
When you say his daughter, is that Lisa, however you say her name?
yep,
Okay.
that's correct.
Confirming.
Now, during this time, all the housemasters are going to be too busy to perform their other duties as well. So it's going to be left to you three to be on chaperone duty as well. Because it's not a fit place for Lysa to be around while the wedding preparations, because they're just going to be Sovereign Deepstar and Sovereign Colwyn are going to be in negotiations for the next week to make this work. So at that point in time, it's good to have the children to get to know each other. And when I say children, we're talking 19 to 25, right? In that kind of age range. They're old enough to be married and whatnot in this world anyway. So as luck would have it, in BV Scrapyard, the Great Race is coming up, where it would be nice to have a representative from um, House Colwyn to race in it. Now, that was going to be the weapons master, but we now no longer have a weapons master. It's not, we don't have to have anyone representative, but if someone wants to think about it, if you have any options for it, um, that would be great. Either case, there is a mechanic waiting there in the town with a charger being tooled. However, if there's nothing that you guys can find there, or if you can't find a driver, that's fine. Just make sure you bring the charger back. Okay. And then
What do you
finally,
think, Ruxton? Should one of us drive? I know the two of us have the Nephelina, you're welcome to as well. Ruxton, I know you and I have the tend to have the higher driving stuff. Something you're interested in?
You don't get
I think you're a better pilot than I am, honestly, when it comes to this sort of thing. But I might be able to make this thing a little bit faster if we have time.
That sounds like I love it when a plan comes together.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'll volunteer for that. Yeah, absolutely.
oh, very good, Bartok. Hope
Outstanding.
you will do our house proud. Uh, and then finally, if Oyah was here, so someone else is going to have to be approached by Vic. If you guys remember Vic, she is the mysticism, the elder master of the house. And she comes forward, is like, "Oh, I'm glad you've all come here once again. Has come to pass. I have spoken with my mentor, and there is something that you must retrieve." And she hands out a note to anyone who wants to take it. There is a curio shop, and within there is an item called the Blossoming Stone. It will. I do not know what it looks like, but it should resonate with a swirling red power. This has something to do with the Star Child. Bring me back this item, and perhaps we can find the source of it. And in a wild moment of serendipity, Ruxton, I need you to make a theory plus wits uh, conflict check at 21.
Okay. Oh. So I could. I don't have any saga points though.
You don't, but you can spend your bequeath items like saga points.
Ah, yes. I mean, I still have like 7 trinkets that I stole from that safe from what's his name?
Trinkets don't act like bequeathed items. Trinkets are just
Just
trinkets.
got it. Not the same thing. Let me make sure I know that.
Yeah. But now, like the bequeathed items that you got, they can be spent like trinkets as well. Like if you get really hard up, you're like, well, all right.
Sure. Uh, oof. Should I spend the 2 that I have for this first roll that I don't know what it does? Anybody have any ideas here? Thoughts?
Do we know what direction this is going, or we just know that it was what features gave him the number of dice?
Well, you know from 2 adventures ago, maybe 3 adventures ago at this point, is that you put a tracker on Star Child.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll do it. I'll spend them. Let's do it.
Okay. Okay. Uh, it was going to be a brief flare and then it would go out, but because you chose to spend it and you beat the 21, you are getting a slow pulse. Uh, if it's still in if Star Child is still in possession of Mother Ram, she has not found your tracker, and it is in the town of Scrapyard.
Yeah.
She never left planet.
Awesome.
I don't think I can give any more hooks out, so tell me what your next steps are. Now, I guess I do need to tell you, the two people that you need to escort. Now, uh, Lady Lysa, you already know her. So you have to escort her and her new betrothed, who's Gallagher Deepstar. He's uh, he's a Caxian, so he's got scaled, kind of a thinner build, purplish scales. He has just kind of a foppish, mope coiffed curl over. He doesn't think much of you because you're not actually royalty. And he looks bored and mopey most of the time. And he says stuff like, "Oh, this fun backwater planet should be interesting." Lady Lysa is absolutely doting over him, though.
What? She moved on from Ruxton so quickly.
Yeah, it's okay. What remind me again the nature of the deal that we need to make in Scrapyard?
You're renegotiating basically exchange rates for the food contract for the Grand Grand Alliance with the scrapyard.
Okay.
They don't have a negotiator in your area, and the scrapyard grows the most food, and so like, well, we'll just have someone else make the deal for them to feed the towns there.
What's the time frame, like the timetable for that?
Well, you don't really have one. I just know that the proposed wedding is in a fortnight,
Okay.
and it's going to take
I
like
mean,
2 days by rail or train or something to get there.
sure. I mean, let's take the train to Scrapyard. I think we should find the charger you're gonna race, get that set up. Uh, have Nephelina just reach out to the folks with the food contract because you're a smooth talker. Just say, "Hey, we're here. We're dealing with stuff. We're gonna get to it pretty soon." And then I can also just find out exactly where Star Child is. It'd be good to know. See what they're up to. We can do all those things pretty much. Well, they start those things, but then we'll take you
Okay.
know Prince and Princess Dumbledees with us, and we'll be fine.
Okay, sounds good.
Sounds good.
So I'm just going to jump into it. The 2 days travel is fantastic. I haven't kind of figured out what kind of transport it is, but it is going to be some sort of like kind of public transportation train that also acts as transport for their food stuff under the mountain and back through the mountain to the spaceport into Defiance. Um, so it takes 2 days time to get through there as you go underneath the mountains. Then it opens up into the sprawling plain after you get through, opens up into the valley. And it's really kind of an eyesore once you get to um, the BV Scrapyard. BV Scrapyard, the BV stands for Buckaroo Valhalla Scrapyard. Once famed racetrack, and also was the former, it was the last holding stand for the company men. This was the last city that fell that was controlled by the companies in your sector. And so you get kind of this weird thing. This city operates largely on its own because it knows that it can support itself by producing food. And so it's not necessarily a part of the Grand Alliance. So it's shipping the food back to the other parts that are part of the Grand Alliance on your planet. Um, the other parts of the city is what makes it noticeable is that the racetrack actually circles around the city, then comes back into the middle, and at the town square, more or less, are these two ramps that crisscross over the end. Now, once you get to game day, you'll see how it's all set up because in the intersection of where those ramps are at is a massive vehicle graveyard where what lands there stays there. And it turns into a massive bazaar of where people can go there and find and trade different parts for mechanics and vehicles and whatever else. So it ends up being a very thriving trinket economy there in the downtown. Otherwise, it's a little bit rougher. Those of you who came here earlier and to what you guys do? What's his face? Jean-Luc. When you tracked him down, that was in the scrapyard as well. All right. You've arrived, let's say, the morning of the third day. So I've already got 2 days. Let's say the race is going to happen on day 10. So you got 8 days until the race time. Uh, just so I know, did you take a charger from the house fleet? I mean, they're all pretty much
I,
the same except for one.
I'd probably trust it more if it was one of ours, unless there was something special about the ones that might be provided here.
Mhm.
Yeah, in that case, I think we bring one from the fleet. That way we know what it is that we've got.
Okay. Hmm. Do you want to take the one that's twitchy or not the one that's twitchy?
Already +1 speed. I think we should take Twitchy.
Yeah, I don't mind the -1 handling. I can live with that. I like the speed, baby.
All right, perfect. Feel free, anyone, to name it while you're in there. Okay, so you take that one. Uh, okay, so you bring it in there. There will be, you get there on the outskirts of the scrapyard. You can take the charger downtown to where the stalls are to keep it before race day. That's fine. You're also going to assign a mechanic as well. Are you guys going to split up at this point to start doing your own things? Are you guys going to go together, or what? How are you going to do this? And don't forget, you're supposed to be escorting slash keeping the betrothed couple from any dangers.
Other
Now,
than, go ahead.
just narratively, I think this might be something that I can introduce. Is that I think there will be a bodyguard. Like I think Lord Deepstar would send a bodyguard, right, of their own.
Sure.
So if you just tell the bodyguard, like, well, just keep them there, that's fine. So they won't be completely helpless out in the wild. If you guys need to do stuff, we'll do that. And their name's gonna be, what's their name gonna be? Shiv? Perfect. All right. Shiv is gonna be also a Caxian.
Could he be related to Torian, our Caxian overseer? Maybe he's like a second distant cousin.
Yeah,
I like the
100%.
idea. I mean, if you can't have nepotism in a house, where are you going to have it? Really?
I, I agree. Yeah, Shiv Torian. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Maybe that's how they got in contact in the first place, right? Okay. All right. You guys are now on the outskirts of the scrapyard. What are you gonna do?
If I want to work on the tracker on Star Child. I don't need everybody to do it, and I don't plan on like getting into a fight. I just want to peruse the situation. So I can do it by myself if we all want to split up.
What if I go with you and we peruse that situation and also reach out to the food folk?
Great.
I'm gonna go walk the track and just look at it from just check out the whole track end to end. It might be a long walk, but wanna
Yeah.
see the whole thing.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, it is going to be a long walk, and I can do that one real quick. It's think of every dystopian um, world abandoned by zombies, like highway scene. There's cracks, a little bit of vegetation on these like 4-lane wide tracks. They really don't get used anymore except for racing. They used to get raced on every week, but now it's just once or twice a year. So this is going to be their big race. They're coming up not as not as prestigious as it once was. However, there is from walking along the tracks and kind of taking a look around. There's going to be a lot of betting on this race. Okay, you two down there, what are you doing first?
I want to track search on.
All right. Yeah, you have like a little handheld thing. As you're kind of checking around, you're like, go for a little bit, and you're like, wait, all right, now it's over here. It seems to be kind of wavering as you get closer to kind of downtown, and then the signal goes flat. That's not really the right word. It goes wide. What was just a little pinpoint, right?
Mhm.
It just boop, boop, and now is boop, boop.
No, I'm muted. Have you ever seen something like this before, Ruxton?
Uh, you know what? I might have read about this in a book. Can I do a wit theorize to try to figure out what could be the cause of this?
Sure. Yeah. 9. I'll give you a 9.
Uh,
Okay.
I got a
Hey,
soccer point.
first saga point.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get it without having to spend anything. There's a couple different things that this could mean on your part. It could mean that the thing itself can be disassembled, possibly. It could be picking up multiple different areas on it. It could also be getting amplified, but it's no longer in one contained thing.
It's potentially bigger, but definitely amplified.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, which means that it could be next to some sort of power source, maybe. I don't know. I'm gonna say yes. That's what it is.
So how do we find it?
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. I am going to have to change the parameters on my device to weed out some of the signal that we don't need. And there's some specifics I could do with the magnetic pull of the planet itself from this specific area. It's going to be a little bit different. Um, there's a lot of fine tuning with just moons and things too. So I have ways to do it. It's just going to take a while, but
Wow, I'm
city
so
center
bad.
tells me a lot. I can start there. Okay.
That's some good tap dancing. Thank you. All right, and then you wanted to go to the
Negotiations with the food.
okay. All right, this is our first official scene here. Now, during this time, what are you having the betrothed do?
But this place, it's not just like a big scrapyard. Like there's also like buildings and like business and stuff, right?
Oh yeah, yep. It's a little bit more
Uh,
industrialized kind of looking than other places, but yeah,
okay. We signed them up for dancing lessons,
yeah, love it.
so they have something to
Perfect.
do for the wedding. And
Okay.
I'm not bitter about the situation, for the record.
Have-
Ruxton will say that to Nephelina. Uh, and then I don't say he doesn't say anything. I'm not bitter about this.
I heard you had a nice dance with her, but
Yeah, she's gonna love this dancing, and I'm gonna like find like some weird ass dance where they like gotta like run in place a lot, something exhausting. That's
uh,
what I signed up for.
okay, you can spin a trinket to find exactly the type of dance thing that you want.
Done and done.
Okay.
Absolutely, I will.
Good old spite dance lessons are my new favorite phrase.
uh, I don't know what's more honorable, me uh, like not caring or caring in a spiteful way. I don't know. Ruxton's dealing with some feelings right now, so. But before we worry about that, let's talk about where our food comes from, how we're gonna pay for
Okay. All right. Okay. You get to just to the west. We'll go to the west side of town to meet with the merchant guild leader. Coquette is who you're waiting for. You get to the outside, and you're told, like, oh, yes, a tall, slender Iliod, crystalline features, kind of a amethyst shading to him. It's like, oh, yes. You see kind of an inner glow coming off of his brain panel. He's like, yes, Coquette will see you presently. And he goes back inside. It's a hot day out here. It's a squat, ugly building, just built more for function more than anything else, that's for sure. And it's hot. 15 minutes goes by, nothing. Another 15 minutes goes by, still nothing. You're gonna lose an honor. This is an outrage to have you, who's representing the Grand Alliance, to be left out here this long. What do you want to do?
it. Can we see the Iliad still, or did he like go inside the building?
He went inside the building.
I think we should barge in. Would you like to barge in?
I agree. Let's do it.
Okay,
I'm
we're
inside.
to barge in. Yeah.
Okay. You barge in this barge into this waiting room where the Iliad was just lounging on a sitting chair in the entryway. Just like, well, I thought I told you to wait outside.
It's been 30 minutes. That is not soon, as we were promised.
Oh, well, yes, Coquette is very busy, but if you must, I may try to get your attention. Is that what you wish me to do?
Yes, we are representatives of our guild house, and we should be treated with respect.
Very well. Come with me. he starts to move very quickly towards the inner sanctum as it comes to a double door. That these are like kind of higher, kind of a vanilla plaster type walls. Get to this double door that opens up, and it opens up into what looks like an abandoned grain silo to the inside of it. There is a round table that goes all the way around a central raised dais, and this raised up by like 15 feet, where a single person sits, who must be Coquette. She has a single light coming down on her. The rest of the chamber is in mostly in shadows. As she sees you come in, she's like, "Oh, I see. I'm busy right now." She looks up and sees that it's you two. Is like, "I wasn't expecting you."
Are there other people in the room? Can we hear like voices? Is she
"No, she's by
anybody?
herself."
You sure seem not busy and like you would have plenty of time for representatives of the plunder donkeys to talk about our food.
I am communing with the hires to see what I should do. Very well, I've lost it already. No, what is it? Yes. You said you're the representatives from the Grand Alliance, is that right? What house are you from?
The plunder mules, plunder donkeys.
Plunder
Uh,
donkeys.
okay.
Hmm. I see. I see. Well, and what is it that you're asking?
We're sent to negotiate about our food rates.
Oh, yes. Yes, of course. This should be very short then. We'll get the paperwork written up. She snaps her fingers, and the Iliod, who's sitting there, and Coquette is a very large woman, almost kind of spilling onto the chair that she's sitting in. The her right hand man grabs some paperwork and hands it to you. Hands it directly to Nephelina as she talks with her henchman. You scan the paperwork. You scan the paperwork, and it is almost twice as much as what the standing deal is right now.
I do not believe this is an acceptable rate. It is. You have inflated it quite significantly.
I'm only going with what is the part of the supply and part of the demand. If the Grand Alliance cannot keep up with the free city states, then there's prices to pay, and this is what our price is at.
Well, I
Now,
do not believe. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, now at this point in time, you can just agree to it, right? You have that power to be like, yes, well, let's take the price. However, you may also choose to negotiate or do some other things. Now, Ruxton, you're there in the background too. You have your robot assistant that I was trying to think of some snazzy acronym for, but I can't figure it out yet. You're just kind of standing in the back, kind of watching this right now.
Mhm.
Well, I believe we can find a happy medium. Um, I would be
What
happy to
kind of
discuss this with you further, but I am not able to agree to these terms at this exact moment.
Hmm. Okay. Well, maybe. Like, I'm not sure. Plunder donkeys. You seem to be a newer guild. Mm, Well, let me explain something to you. There are shipments that we normally get from the Outer Plains, and we're not getting them. We're not getting every one of them, I should say. I'd say about 1 in 3 of them are being attacked. Now, if you can come back with proof that these attacks will have been lessened, then perhaps you'll come back with a stronger bargaining power. Otherwise, you haven't given me anything else to deal with.
Understood. This sounds like a difficult situation, and we will make sure that it is investigated thoroughly. Okay, so this is Rachel now.
Mhm.
Love the table. Um, do I know like is whatever the current contract is like ending now, or do we have like a couple weeks or some time to?
You have time. You have
Okay.
time, but just like in most cases, when like no one ever negotiates a contract, pretty much ever. It's like once it comes up, it's like all right, because they're trying to leverage more power
Hmm.
for it. But you've got a little bit of time. Like it's not going to end at
Okay.
midnight tonight or anything.
Okay. Um, we will take this contract and examine it further and see what our plan forward is. We will not agree to it today.
Oh, okay. The right hand man, whose name is, I do have a name for him.
Shit. Wait, no, wrong one.
No.
That's Gamenicon.
um, no. The bishop is his name. You're getting the sense that he's a prescient. Bishop leads you to out of the guild, and he's like, something that may be of somewhat interest to you is that the attackers are using illegal weapons, armaments for the town of the scrapyard. They're usually use what's called a sonic disruptor. I don't know if that'll be any help, but please come back when you have news for a renegotiation.
Thank you for your time.
He just looks at you, waiting for you to leave.
And we do so.
Okay. So your sovereign Colwyn has booked you guys basically a room for a fortnight in a place that's not too far away from downtown, not too far away from really anywhere, right? Um, not too nice, not too gross, just right. So you can meet back up there around noon. Um, I
Before we jump to the next part, now that I've walked the track, I don't know if it would be prescience or investigate or pilot. I want to think about places where, if any funny business was to happen, where it might be, so I can be ready for it when the race comes.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, you tell me. Narratively, what do you think your character would be kind of looking for?
Um, Probably like wit and pilot. Like like sand people shooting at the pod racer. I mean, someone
Right.
pulling a rope across, so I go flying head over heels. Like just where any funny business, blind turns where cameras or others might not be able to see
Hmm.
naughty stuff happen.
Sure. So the racetrack is in the shape of a fleur-de-lis, with the crossing is where the ramps are at in the middle. It goes way out there. It goes out the outside of town. So maybe on those banking turns, when there's going to be less people watching, would be a good place for ambush. But also at the place where in the center where it comes forward, there are three towers, and I've got a map of this that are for um, VIPs to watch the race because that's the most exciting part, right? There's two towers, two for the VIPs, and then another tower that's going to be like the announcing thing. And these towers go about 30 feet up into the air. The ramps are about 15 to 20 feet up in the air. Everything else has to be, the stadiums have to be a little bit back because the jumps come from underneath the stadium. So this crowd will see it from behind. The people in the tower will see it coming, crossing in front of that.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, something else I do want to let you know is that the now that you've walked it, you know that's the Market of Valhalla is where the crossing is at, right? that physical dueling is illegal on the grounds in this city. And it's patrolled by a meager but well-armed guards. So they, once they get there, they can put any riots down that may be coming up for any reason. But there's just too few of them to be everywhere at once. Um, let's see now. That's about it. That's you kind of pick these up as the rules as you're kind of walking along and talking to people first. All right, you guys can meet back up. Oh,
So how'd it go with
make
the food? Yeah.
Bartek, make your roll. I didn't have you make your roll. Jeez.
Oh, yes, sure.
You know?
Okay, get a saga point. You also realize that because the scrapyard underneath of the jumps is littered with like all sorts of hiding places, that's going to be a high place of concentration too. However, that's got the most eyes on it as well. So it would be a lot of people are going to be looking there when people are jumping over. Uh, but you also realize most likely if anything terrible was going to happen, it would happen before the race. It's either going to be like on the outskirts or before the race even happens. All right, gang, where are we going?
So, team, how'd the things go with the food?
They want a lot of money. Is that the currency? They want a lot of,
Jules.
yes, a lot of jewels. And I don't think it's acceptable. I could go back and try to be a little more charming than I was. However, she did have valid concerns that were related to upping the price. We could investigate some shipments that have been attacked, or task somebody else to investigate these shipment attacks. But negotiations are still open.
Is that something we can investigate here?
Sure.
Like, uh, we don't have to go like to the starport. Is there a starport in here, or is this the main starport, the Kessel one that's over there?
Aren't we like underground right now? Like
Well,
under
you
the
made it.
mountains?
You traveled underground, under mountains to get here, but no, it opens up into a huge, sprawling plain, and you're kind of at the tip of it where the scrapyard's at.
I don't think Eric understands how we investigate it without getting on a ship and going someplace,
Right.
Okay. Um.
or like trying to check ship logs. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not sure where to go with it.
Okay. So then I need to lay out some more hints or better plan. So the the only clues that you have is that 1 in 3 shipments are getting attacked by someone or something, right? And they're using illegal weaponry.
Mhm.
Okay. So
It
those are your
came
two
from
clues
here.
about that. Now,
We can
those are your two clues about
weaponry.
that particular thing. Now you also have to go. They want you to go to the curio shop. You can also try and pin down where Mother Ram is at. Um, that one seems like kind of a dead end right this second, though.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, those seem to be kind of your leads right now. Even if you went to the starport, I don't know what you'd be looking for because the shipments of food are coming from the plains over here and they get brought in. Uh, if you want me to fill it more out, is that there's what are called Kessel cattle, which are basically just giant vegetable cows that are made of vegetables, And the problem is that they need people to tend to them, otherwise they'll just eat each other, and then they just won't know it, right? So yeah, you herd them around, make sure they don't eat each other, and then when they get big enough, you're like, all right, great, we'll just harvest them and bring them into scrapyard so they can get grown more into the food vats and then shipped over to the rest part of the planet.
So it's shipments that are coming in, not from space. It's shipments that are coming from planet to here.
Correct. From the vast plains you see to the south of the city, that's where the shipments are getting hijacked, coming into the city from the south.
Thank you. Sorry, I thought it was outer space. That makes
Gotcha.
makes
No,
way
not
more
a
sense.
problem.
I
It's something that
also
I need.
interpreted it that way.
Sure,
So
it's something that I need to work on too, because we're working with a lot of different dimensions here, right?
Hmm.
planes like PLAINS, not
Sure.
planes like
Yes.
PLANES.
Yes, correct.
Got it.
From the outer plains. Yeah, okay, I see it. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, how should we divide this up? What do you two see as the most important thing we should be doing first? We have a few days yet.
I mean, I don't think these costs are going down if we don't have something to negotiate, something to offer. They did say the illegal weapons were definitely coming from here in Scrapyard. EV Scrapyard. We could try to track down where the weapons are coming from. But if we think we want to work on preparing you for this race first.
Well, I wouldn't want to do anything as dishonorable as cheat. There are some blind spots out at the edges coming back and around. Alternatively, if something were rigged to blow up in Valhalla there at the jumps, it'd be hard to say what caused old junked equipment to explode, and it could look pretty cool too. So I don't know, Ruxton, if you have any engineers rigging ideas, I'm open to anything you might have.
Yeah. Um. Maybe we should check out the sonic disruptor situation first. Whoever has access to sonic disruptors might also have access to explosives. And if we're gonna bust somebody and steal a bunch of shit, we might as well get stuff we need. Um,
Right.
but
Negotiate something out of them.
yeah, I don't know who we're gonna find or what we're gonna find. But bad dudes, we're the good guys. There might be something we could do with that. I'm gonna need other parts. We're in a good place to get a lot of parts. This reminds me of my home, by the way. Like I grew up pretty much in a big junkyard, so I love this stuff, you guys. And there's a lot of things actually that'll explode on things that people throw away. They have no idea. So if we have the time, I could probably just find some shit too. I think I might be able to get a little bit more speed out of the charger, but might cost you a little bit more handling. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I think investigating the shipments, and if we can find like their the shipyard essentially, right, where all these ships are coming into, find somebody to talk to, find a driver, a pilot that's dealt with this, do a little sneaking around and find out if there's a if there's a somebody double crossing them. It's a job on the inside that's giving them ideas of where to be get attacked. uh I could do a little more research on sonic disruptors. I think we got a lot of options over there.
I could go hang out. So what you're saying is those sonic disruptors probably came in through a shipment somewhere. I could go hang out in some scuzzy pilot bars down by the docks to see if maybe I could dredge up some insights.
For sure. I mean, like, it can't be a big secret. Somebody here knows something about it, I bet. So yeah, if we could get a tip off on that. Yeah.
Nephelina, did you want to you go high, I go low. I wouldn't hang out at the same place as you would, so maybe we check it 2 different ways. I don't know.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. Who wants to go
So I'm
first?
gonna I'm gonna go to a scuzzy pilot bar.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. Like there is because this place used to be known for racing, you can definitely find a place that's a little bit more down on its luck since the racing prestige has gone down. Um, so yeah, you can find a nice scuzzy place. Like definitely like let's go straight for the cantina out of Star Wars, right? It's a little bit rough. It's a little smoky for no known reason. There's nothing that smokes, right? But it's still like dark and musty, and there's people around like giving each other the eye. And like you go in there and you're not a local, but you have the walk, right? Because you do have that underworld cred, right? That background. All right. Um, Tell me, like, why do you know that this bar used to be a really nice bar, but has fallen on hard times?
You can always tell by the padding of the chairs, right? It's got that like deep, dark, rich red leather on the mahogany and the brass buttons, except the brass is long since lost its luster, and the red is like cracked, and the beer stains have sort of gone black with mold and mildew in under that's gotten into the leather. So it has the luxury that is now sticky and smells kind of sour.
Perfect. The name of the bar is Razors as you slide in there, double swing doors as you walk in. Um, a mechanized robot is behind the bar, just auto dropping drinks in front of people when they put a trinket down and place their order on there.
Yeah, absolutely. Go go up to and maybe some find a few people just sort of casually chatting at the bar. Nothing too intense. Head on up, put my trinket down, and start just listening in on the conversation. And I'm gonna try to just charm my way right into the conversation.
Okay. Yeah, two people are talking about, I don't know, the upcoming race, right? It's the only thing that they want to talk about. And you get some interesting information. However, to get your way into this conversation, they are talking about the different odds from the different drivers and who's being represented. Um, the one thing that they say, one person offhand is like, well, it's got to be Brick. Brick's probably going to win it again, right? And the other person comes back with like, no, 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 no. I don't think Brick. I don't think Brick this time. I know it's a long shot, but I like Venazar. I think they're pretty good this year. And would you like to give me a charm check in what are you doing here?
I'm gonna let him know there's a new hotshot in town who's gonna take both of those guys and make him eat his dust. This guy.
Do you openly have like a plunder donkey symbol or whatever it might be?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Plunder Donkey's here to run this race, baby.
Okay. You're gonna give me. I need a 13 for charm to work on these guys. But you know, I have faith.
I can do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna spend. Yeah, I'll spend my saga point to hit that 13,
Okay.
and it
All
looks
right.
like I get 2 more to pick up.
Yep.
So
You get two
gonna make
back out of it, so that works out. They both burst out laughing. That's why it was so hard to do. Because they're just like, Lord Colwyn's gonna send another person in. You guys are 5-1 at best. Oh, but we like your moxie, kid. Oh, that's all right. So what, you're the new racer for Colwyn?
Yeah, I'm the new star of the show, man. I'm not just gonna show. I'm gonna take the whole thing.
I hope you end up better than the last one. He elbows the other
Oh
one.
yeah, what was it? What was their name? I don't remember who it was.
I couldn't even tell you what their name is. There's always some fresh sacrifice. This one ended up splattered all over the scrapyard itself. I couldn't handle that. Oh my goodness.
Well, better them than me, I suppose. Yeah, yeah. Hey, so I hear I walked the track today, and I heard some people talking about some new sonic weapons in the area. Is this something I'm gonna have to worry between you and me, so I can get you that 5-1? Should I be worried about this? Because I don't like the sonic thing. I
Well,
like a, I like a fight I can see.
they look at you like, well, Sonics are pretty. I mean, they're just not very honorable, right? It's just they don't target anything. They just hit the whole area. Uh, but give me a present, or sorry, a panache plus society
Okay.
at
Yep.
9. Well, you get a saga point. You
Yeah, I'll spend a saga on it.
okay?
Yeah.
Like they just kind of look at each other as like, well, the kid had better know at least what he's going up against, right? Oh, yeah, I suppose. I suppose. You didn't hear it from us, all right? But you can maybe Rudo might have something that you're looking for. He owns the rusty scabbard. We didn't hear it from us, right? Now, can we buy you a drink before you hang out with your predecessors?
I think I would love for each of them to buy me a drink. Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay,
And I'm
give
going to
me
spend some time.
a vigor versus athletics versus 13. They give you some sort of blue milk situation that you're like, "Ooh."
That's all sorts of tension coming your way. What does failure mean here?
You get the drunk status effect.
I'll take it.
Okay, all right. You are now drunk, which that'll be -1 vigor until you get rid of it, and it can last until you get some rest. Okay.
And does that get us a unity point because I failed a check?
Yes, thank you. You now have 4 unity points. Okay. All right? Switching scenes. What were the other people doing?
I was going to go to the shipyards, the transport area where all the ships come in, and try to talk to pilots gone that had been attacked before, if they
Yeah.
survived. What those sort of stories.
Okay, sounds good. You can just by asking around a little bit. You find a woman. Let's go with a woman. Eternal. Let's say. Think of kind of like a willow tree kind of feeling coming off her. The way her hair is off to the side. She seems to be chewing cud of some sort as you approach her. Um, Tell me what lets you know that she cannot be charmed.
Oh, She can't be charmed like in just a not even like not a supernatural charm, but literally like she cannot be charmed by someone.
Just tell me why you think she cannot be charmed. What kind of impression do you get from her
Oh,
that lets you know that?
uh, sure. Uh, she's definitely older than she looks. Even she's heard every story in the book. She uh, she just knows she understands human nature to the point that or human nature sentient nature um that assume you're being charmed and so she's very pessimistic about that sort of thing, but she really responds to like uh literal things, you know what I mean, like the more to the point you can get, the better.
That's Milo. That's Milo's kind of characteristics. As he come up, she goes like, "Yeah, heard you. Someone's asking around about me. What's going on?"
Ships are being attacked with uh sonic weapons, sonic disruptors.
Yeah, yeah. Tell me about it. She kind of leans over this way, and you see that her right side of her face is kind of bandaged up a little bit. I was like, "Yeah, speak over here, all right?"
Understood. uh wasn't sure if there were survivors, so good for you.
Yeah,
um
you with the guard or something?
we're working with the with the what are they
Merchant
called?
Guild?
No, thank you. Oh, right there is it. Merchant Guild. We're working with the Merchant Guild to try to solve this problem, and I want to be as helpful as I can. So I just like as much information as I can get.
Merchant Guild doesn't help people like us. They just try and get the prices up. Surprised they send anyone at all.
We're trying to get prices down, and if we can help figure this little problem out, hopefully they can go down for everybody.
Hey, if you can make my route safer, that's all I'm looking for.
Happy to do it. What did you see? What attacked you?
Well, I didn't see much, right? There was I was coming in outside the borders, and it looks like there was someone that was maybe in help, but I'm not going to stop for that, right? But I did slow down a little bit just to take a look, and from the other side, I got blasted, and they just ripped open the side of the hull. And just they didn't even try and steal anything. They just set them on fire. Can you imagine? Just ruining all that food for no reason?
Mm. What sort of damage does the sonic disruptor do to the vessel?
Well, nothing. It just did damage to me. Pretty much
Oh,
knocked me out.
it affected you, but it didn't affect like the instruments in the ship or anything.
You know?
Just got just knocked you out.
Yeah, these sonic things, they're only for people that breathe them.
It's good to know. Didn't see them. When was the last attack?
Oh, I don't know. Probably with me like a week ago.
Okay.
I don't know, like
It,
I wish I could be more help, but I just don't have that much else for you, buddy.
understood. You don't have an idea who it was or who could be behind it.
Um, they because I didn't see what was happening over here, but the person I was looking at seemed to have maybe like a bronze arm or something, but I don't know. I don't know.
They might have been like part of like what distracted you, just like the broken down vessel. Is that what you're saying? You saw a bronze arm, or for when
Yeah,
where you got
yeah,
shot?
yeah. Yeah, the guy that was there had a bronze arm, I think. I think before it went off.
That's cool. All right. Thank you, Milo. If you think anything, this is my comm number. Give me a call.
Okay. Hey, if you're with the guild, hey, I could always use work, okay?
Good to know. Absolutely. I'll keep that in mind. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. And Nephelina?
Well, Bartok was going to a skeezy bar. I'm gonna go to more like a high class establishment of some kind.
Okay. Now, what I'm going to assume during this whole time is that you guys have comms to be able to keep in contact with each other at all time. Yeah, if you want to be able to pass information back and forth.
Yes.
Okay, so you're going to go on the for East Side probably. Um,
Yeah. If I need to use my professional ability to get in someplace, I will gladly do that. My professional ability is I'm on the list.
okay.
If I use that, I will.
Uh, there's going to be a couple opportunities, and if you want to make one up here, though, that would be awesome too. Like little soirees. There's going to be definitely before the night of the party. There's probably going to be people are going to get together. Um,
Like leading up to the race, you mean?
hmm Yep. I don't know
Oh
how
yeah.
useful that'll be, but that's something that'll for sure happen. Um, but yeah,
Yeah, I would
you can find yourself
pre-race party.
okay. So then you go to this nicer drinking. Is it a drinking establishment? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Can you describe to me why this is why the lower quote unquote class of people are not allowed to get in? How are they kept out?
This is an establishment. I mean, there's definitely a very intimidating bouncer out front. And this bouncer has been given very specific standards for dress and for cleanliness, hygiene. Um, and there's also like a cover charge to get in.
Oh, okay. It'll be like a trinket. You want to pay that?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine.
Now, this would be something if you didn't want to pay the trinket, you could use your ability to say you're on the list and just get it without having to pay it.
Oh, I want to do that. Although, is that I'm on the list? That's like a once per
It's a
adventure
once
thing,
per
right?
adventure ability. Yeah.
I don't know if it's worth it for this.
Yeah. For
But I
one
didn't use
trinket,
it at all
probably.
last adventure, so maybe it's worth it. I'm just gonna go for it. Yeah, I'll use my ability. No, I'm on
Okay.
the list.
Okay. Let's take a look at your ability and you tell me how this works out. So you are an operator, and your ability is that you're able to secure an invite to every type of event. Describe who you know at the event, and if you're blackmailing them, or if it's cordial, or how do you get in to this without paying?
I think I find somebody who's already in the line and I befriend them. And I
Nope.
can make a charm roll if that's what you like. It's
No,
not. It's
your
not
ability just
blackmail.
works.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh my goodness, are you coming to this party too? I am so looking forward to it, and I just like kind of sneak in on there. Like, how did you hear about this event? And I ask them questions, so I learn about it. So I'm like ready to answer the right questions, and
Are you
well,
pretending to be someone that they used to know, or are you coming off as a brand new?
no, brand new. Like,
Just
aren't you so excited for this event? I have been looking forward to this all week. And
okay. Yeah, absolutely. And you're talking about the race.
the race and this specific party for whatever reason, like
Okay. Oh, sure.
I
Oh,
just
you're
love all the events around the party. I love the or around the race. I love the race. I love all the parties. I love this entire week. It's my favorite of the year.
Okay. Yeah, you're talking to an Othan, one of the beetle like people, and he's
Mm-hmm.
wearing a very foppish white wig. And he's got some very nice cufflinks as he's coming into it. No sleeves, right? Just the cufflinks on his insect-like arms, and he's like, "Oh, well, yes, you were invited to the event as well. Oh, I cannot wait to see what's going to be happening here." And it doesn't even occur to him that he just paid for your way in to into the restaurant slash bar. As you come in, it's called the Skyline that you go into. It is at the one of the highest levels you can get to in the city. Just overlooks. In the world that you guys live in is incredibly beatific if you guys were on the other side of the mountains. Unfortunately, you're on this side of the mountains. So it just gets up above the lower levels of light smog on there, but that's a bonus, right? As you're just kind of overlooking the plains that stretch out forever as you go out to the deck, that of course is revolving.
Uh, I will grab a drink and I will mingle a little bit, kind of keeping an eye out for. There's that one I'm keeping an eye out for. An
Yeah,
eye out
you're gonna have to
for.
be the
Nephelina,
instigator here. Like,
Right.
Nephelina.
What? Rock
Just
copy?
look out for a bronze arm, just in case. Might be a clue
Noted.
to Sonic stuff, just in case it comes up.
Noted. Thank you.
Is there cheese there?
There's so much cheese here.
Just try to bring home some cheese.
Cheese and grapes and wine and
No grapes, just cheese. Over and out. Shh.
Roger. So yes, I'm keeping an eye out for a bronze arm. But also keeping an eye out for who would know something. Um,
yeah, like you've managed to get into this place, but why?
right, what am I gonna get out of being here? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Hey, sorry, I have a very needy dog right
Yeah.
now. Let's see. I want to. She's Sally. Looks like Eric's trying to save me because she is literally biting me right now. Sally.
Knock it off. What are you doing?
Um,
You- I mean, there
what?
must be that there's people who are high level in society who are part of the food trade, where that's where they're making their
Right, that's what I
money,
was.
and
But how would I
shipping
identify
and
them? That's what I was trying to figure out. But like, how do I identify people who are part of the food shipment? Maybe I go. I just a random person. Oh, I asked my Othan is that what they are?
Mhm.
Friend, like I'm supposed to meet some of my friends here who are or some new colleagues here who are part of the merchant guild, right? Um, do you know where they would be? Like I'm looking for, and I like describe. Maybe I describe Coquette or her little henchman secretary dude.
It's like, oh, well, as luck would have it, uh, I happen to be on part of the exchange commission.
You are? What a
Yes,
coincidence!
that's great.
Uh,
Yeah, my name is Fabio. So wonderful to meet you.
it's nice to meet you, Fabio.
Yes,
Uh,
yes, it usually is.
my name is, and I'm actually say Nadine. My name is Nadine.
Oh, Nadine, what an exquisite name. Yes, yes. Well, welcome here. Let's eat. Let's partake in these cheeses, and let's take
What
these grapes for
amazing
the people.
foods!
And he
And
throws it over the ledge.
he just throws grapes over the ledge.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yes, this is quite the spread, especially since I was given the impression that we're really struggling to get shipments in.
I mean, for those that eat that type of food, I'm sure they might be having an issue with it. But, for those that are, wait, you're not part of the Grand Alliance, are you?
No, not at all.
Oh, are you wearing a guild symbol or anything like that?
No, I was not intending to.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
I'm
I
under.
mean, just being here in the Free City States, we don't have to worry about that. Food and luxury items and all that, you know how it goes. We just get that. Now, maybe for the people that tend our gardens, it might be a little bit harder to deal with, but yeah, no, we're going to be doing fine.
Oh,
But you know,
such a relief.
it it can affect the trade commission is keeping an eye on it. I'm gonna need you to do a society check on this guy.
So, right
And it's going to
now.
be an opposed roll. Since you're the attacker, you're going to roll first. Um, okay. All right, you do.
Um,
All right, so you have 11 right now. Do you want to spend anything to keep more dice?
I want to keep one, but I can't use this saga point I just got, right?
You cannot use the one that you just got.
I have to use trinkets. Also, something to clarify, was I supposed to give up the trinkets or the bequeathments I still had from last time?
No,
Okay.
no, you keep those.
So I will use my cool new spy watch. I mean, I've had it forever, obviously, but yes, I will just kind of activate. And the badass thing that it does is that when I like push this button, it kind of like releases this like endorphin chemical that like it provides like a little boost of whatever this guy needs to just feel like he can trust me or like
Sure.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, love it.
Um,
All right, so you're going with
so
15 then?
I have 15.
Okay. I really don't want to spend my hard-earned tension points because I'm so close to triggering the table. So I'm not gonna do it. Based on experience gets a tension point, I get to use the table on him. So that's okay. So you get this one. All right. So it goes like, wow. The commission did have someone look into it, but like, we're not going to do anything about it. It's not really our place to step in. We just make sure that the trades
Do you
are
know what is
okay.
happening now? Oh, I totally
Well,
understand. But I'm just curious what's actually happening. I heard there's like sonic disruptors involved, and that feels pretty intense to not step in.
I don't know anything about that, but I heard though that there might have been there might be a new player in town.
Hmm,
There is a
fascinating.
there's a
Sure.
gang apparently that is of augmented humanish um, that perhaps is being funded by what would they call it in the things a rival guild house perhaps.
Hmm.
Yeah, yes, being hired, but I'm not quite sure. I think from what we learned from who we hired, that let's see now, this name doesn't mean anything to me, but it is. Oh, where's it at? Oh, how Skiro might be involved. But
fascinating. Well,
please,
this
let's
has been,
with this
yeah, we
silly.
need to party. But thank you,
Yes,
Fabio.
please,
This has
more
been very
cheese.
educational. Yes. Cheese is the best part. Did I pocket some because Ruxton wants cheese?
Yeah, you kind of get the idea that this guy probably doesn't have much else for you at this point. All right, it is 9:16. Would you guys like to keep going or get together first, talk about what the next steps are going to be and what have um, Lady Lysa and Gallagher Deepstar been doing this whole time?
They've been
I'm
learning the
pretty
best
tired from my day,
things.
just so you know. So, uh, but I'm happy to like figure out what the next plan is and like get all the next steps ready to go. If that works.
Yeah, yeah, sounds good. You guys have four unity points so far, and you're at 9 tension points. So that's exciting for me anyway. We're really filling out this town. I feel great about that. You've been to Razors, where you found out what?
That probably I'm undervalued in the gambling market, and I'm going to make a lot of money off of that. I did not mark 5 to 1. I have two jewels, so this could be a big win for me.
Hmm.
I got to keep my eyes out on Brick and Venizar, who are evidently favored pretty highly, or at least Venizar is, Brick's historical, but in terms of the current missions, Rudo at the Rusty Scabbard might be someone who has an in about knowing about sort of all this Sonic stuff. So definitely worth checking out the Rusty Scabbard. And also, I'm drunk.
Right, he's telling you this while drunk. Now, I will do this. Well then, Ruxton, what did you find out?
Uh, Milo let me know the attacks happened just outside the border. Sounds like there was a dummy distraction where they're looking at something that was somebody who was broken down maybe, and then blindsided the other way. And someone with a bronze arm might be part of it. And Nephelina, did your contact say something about augmented humanish? And if you weren't muted, what more would you say to me? Amazing things, I bet. It's of a
I
rival.
just said yeah.
Okay. Uh,
And it was kind of more of a yeah with a question mark because I had not
okay.
written that part down. I heard him say something about humanish.
Yeah, he
But
So
did say
my
augment.
understand like bionic arms and stuff might be part of what that means.
100%.
Okay. So I think
100%.
that's a good connection.
And Nephelina, do you tell your compatriots the other factoids that you learned?
yes, there might be another gang or player trying to become a notable house, House Skiro.
And
And
at the
they are made of augmented humanish folk.
well, they're backing them. What you heard,
That's what I heard.
but
Thank you for clarifying.
at the mention of
Hey,
House Skiro, both Bartok and Ruxton, Bartok instantly sobers up. You haven't heard that name in a little bit. Well, that's not true. You recently had to meet with them, and Ruxton, you can add that name to your uh,
Yeah. Awesome. I know where all my tension shit's gonna go towards. This is gonna be great. Thank you.
Is Skiro having to do with my bot status or with my personal saga?
yes.
Okay.
You know what? I think what makes this more interesting, I think maybe just the boss status. Is that more interesting? Or do you want to wrap it in with your personal saga too? Both are very interesting. I originally was going with personal saga, but
I kind of like, I think it makes it more complicated if it has to do with bot, in part because
yeah.
my the personal saga part, this whole event is exactly something that my previous boss would consider attending. So I kind of like
Okay.
this. It's more complicated if they're separate. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, perfect. Okay. So we are full-fledged into intermingling all sorts of goodness so far. But uh the so far, I'll write this up in notes and let you guys know. Um, let's talk about trying to do experience points. Is this something we should try and do every time? I don't know. Let's take a look at it. Um, so let's go with did you participate in the session? Yes. Everyone gets an experience point for that. All right. Did you fulfill a code of chivalry? Did anyone defend the innocent? Did anyone express courtly love? Did anyone do anything daring?
Not really.
I would be willing to take a look at courtly love for Ruxton for doing spite dance lessons because you did bring that into it. I would be fine doing that. Okay.
Okay. Great. Like,
Let's see.
Well, that has the potential to get messy later, right? So you staying in on that is kind of cool.
yeah.
I was not expecting that. I thought you'd wash your hands of it. So this will make this even more. It gives me better options in the future.
Great. Good. I like it messy. Great.
All right. Did anyone bond with another player? I don't know if that necessarily happened this time around.
No.
There was a nice cheese moment there, but I don't know if that counts specifically. Okay. Uh,
No.
did any of you cultivate your culture, your species culture at all? Nope.
My
Well,
dog's being a problem. There she is.
Yeah.
I talked about how Zui are from the the sort of planet, right? Like the uh, junkyard planet. Not sure how much that really didn't add a lot of stuff.
I think that counts. I'm okay with that because it's something that you brought in on your own, right? No one forced you to talk about that.
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest with you, you did it so smoothly. I thought you were talking about your personal place that you grew up, and I was like, wait a minute, you grew up on a farm.
Oh, I was in character.
Yeah, yeah, that was yeah. So I bought it. So yeah, I'm okay with you taking that.
Right.
Did anyone else bring up anything culture for their species that you feel like, or your profession?
I got a little talk. I think it was more information gathering to learn about the other pilots and sort of learn about the track. So I don't think that would really count as sort of building it out. I think I was more discovering what was planned rather than creating
Oh,
new.
okay, sounds good. And I will give you a full list of the odds of all the racers for the race. Like I've already got it written up. So yeah. Okay. So then I got Aaron gave me his expenditure for experience points, but I didn't get any from Eric or Rachel. Did you guys spend any? Did you spend your experience points?
Gain 2 joules, was that the option?
No, no. So I sent
Oh,
out the rules on how to spend your experience points to either increase skills, attributes, or buy advantages. If you didn't do it this time, that's absolutely fine. You've got 2 weeks to take a look at it.
no.
I
Yeah,
did
no
not, but I
worries.
will.
You did email something about how you needed me to like an ally or I get 2 joules or something like that, right?
Yeah, now that you get automatically.
What was
So,
that
but that
about?
doesn't have to do with your experience points.
I'm trying to pull up the email.
Okay.
Okay, but I will check it.
Okay. Sounds good. And then for my playtesting part of it, if I don't keep messing up the first part of it, does it feel better doing the bequeathments and then the machinations?
We might as well do it in that order, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
You
one
should,
more thing we might be able to use, right?
yeah, I think you have to do it that way because you start off with 0 saga points, right? So it has to be
Yeah.
done in that order. I liked how you guys took initiative to decide what machinations you did more in this area, which I thought was good. Um, yeah, I don't know. This little session, it was pretty short. It's about 2.5 hours, closer to 2 by the time we got everyone on here. But yeah, I thought it was nice and tidy. I think we're shaping up the mystery quite nicely. Because what do we have left to do? We still need to go to the curio shop to pick up the blossom stone. Um, and then the main thing is to figure out the what do you call it? The gang that's the House Skiro gang that's working for House
Mm-hmm.
Skiro. So
Well, we've kind of been ignoring the people we're supposed to be watching, right? So we might want to maybe put our thumb on that scale a little bit just to kind of not lose complete control of that situation. And yeah.
I believe we're technically called chaperones, and we have not been very much Oyah's been with them. Oyah's been hanging out.
that's what Oya's been doing this whole time. And maybe we'll have
Right.
her make some checks next time we get together. She can maybe read some sensitivity or whatever.